everyone, and welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things logistics. If you are new here, my name is Tori. Welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the home of the wealthy ones because we are working to create wealth over here. Now, today we will be discussing hours of service. Now, one of my subscribers asked this question in the comment section, and I am so thankful that you did because I don't know why I didn't release a video about this already. A lot of this stuff is included within my course. However, I do know that everyone is not in the position to invest in themselves at this time, so I don't mind answering questions. And speaking of investing in yourselves, for the people that are emailing me, calling me, leaving voicemails saying that you just missed the Father's Day sale, you just missed the Juneteenth sale, when will I have another one? Can I extend it? You all have until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow to get the course for $150, and after that it has to go back to regular price. It's been on sale all month. You gotta get with it or get left, okay? But to answer your question, I will be having another sale probably in like end of August, beginning of September, or somewhere around that, because for the month of August I won't be accepting any new mentees, but I'll open that back up in September, so I may just do everything at the same time. Okay, so getting right into what we came to talk about today, which is hour of service. You may have heard of things like the 14-hour rule or the 14-hour limit. There's the 11-hour driving period, and then there's the 30-minute break. I'm going to cover all those today and then give you a little more information. Now, according to the Department of Transportation, an owner-operator can be on duty for 14 hours, and then they have to take a 10-hour consecutive rest break before their clock restarts. Now, with the 11-hour driving period, that means that the owner-operator has 11 hours within that 14-hour window to drive. And once that time has passed, again, they have 10 consecutive hours that they have to rest, and then that clock will restart. Now, what that means is that the owner-operator has to do all their driving and all their job duties within that 14-hour window. That includes things like pre-trip inspections, post-trip inspections, refueling, and even maintenance if that comes up, because sometimes it does. It's really unpredictable. But if that does come up, it has to be done within that 14-hour window, and that is what they're being told within that 14-hour window. Now, when it comes to the 30-minute break, a driver can't operate their truck for more than 8 hours consecutively without taking a 30-minute break. Now, the break has to be recorded as either on duty, off duty, or sleeper berth. Now, I understand these are terms that some of you have never heard before, so don't worry. You're going to know before the end of this video what each of them mean, okay? On duty time is any time that the operator is working and has some sort of job responsibility. Drive time is any time the operator is driving. Off-duty time is when they are off work and not performing any job duties. And sleeper berth is any time that they spend in their bunk area of their truck. Now, this would not apply to day cabs because they do not have a bunk area of their truck. They're just a day cab, so they go local. So this would be for someone going over the road that has a sleeper. Now, let's start with the 14-hour limit. With the 14-hour limit, the clock starts once the driver switches to on duty. Now, there's no way to stop this timer once it starts. The driver must be in off duty or in sleeper berth by the time that 14-hour period ends in order to stay in compliance. If the owner operator, so let's say the owner operator starts at 5 a.m., that means their time is up come 7 p.m. Time is up. They got to stop. They got to stop driving. And it's important to note that they have to stop at 7 p.m. no matter what time they start driving, because that's the end of their 14-hour window. So an example would be if you have an owner operator who started at 5 a.m. Let's say he went on duty at 5 a.m., did his pre-trip, noticed he needed some maintenance. He goes to get the maintenance done, and he's not done at 5 p.m. He starts driving at 5 p.m. He still has to stop driving by 7 p.m. because that's his 14-hour window, and that's the way he can stay in compliance. So no matter what time they start driving within that 14-hour window, they have to stop at the end of the 14 hours. Even though his 11-hour drive time is not exhausted, the 14-hour is, so they have to stop no matter what. Now let's go into the 11-hour driving period. Within that 14-hour limit, that driver has 11 hours that they can drive. Now the 11-hour clock starts once the driver goes to driving mode. Once they switch from on duty to driving, the 11-hour clock starts. So these are two different clocks. Now, unlike that 14-hour clock, they can stop the driver clock. So whenever the driver stops driving, that clock will stop. And that 14-hour clock, like I said, it does not stop, okay? Keep that in mind. Now let's go into the 30-minute break. With the 30-minute break, the driver must take a break after 8 hours of consecutively driving. It's important to note that they can take the break before the 8 hours, but they cannot take the break after the 8 hours. So let's say this owner operator was driving for 5 hours and he got tired or he got hungry and he decided to take a 30-minute break. He can do that and still be in compliance, or she can do that and still be in compliance. But if that owner operator waits till 8 hours and 5 minutes until their drive time, or 8 hours and 10 minutes, they are not in compliance, okay? They would be in violation of their hours of service, and that would be a big issue for them. Now, it's important to note that that 30-minute break does count against their 14-hour clock. However, and that's because, remember, that clock doesn't stop. But it does not count against drive time, because remember, when they stop driving, that clock stops. Now, in addition to the things that I've named, the rules that I've named, there's also a 60-hour 7-day rule, and there's a 70-hour 8-day rule. Now, it kind of speaks for itself. You can't work more than that 60 hours within a 7-day period. He can't work more than 70 hours within an 8-day period. And after that 8 days or that 7 days, they must take a 34-hour consecutive break. A consecutive 34-hour break, okay? And I know some of these numbers and hours can be throwing you off, but it's okay. And now that's kind of as deep as I'm going to go into that 60 and 70-hour rule. If you all need me to go more in depth into it, just leave it in the comment section and I'll try my best to explain it in a different way to make sure that you can understand it. Now, other rules would include adverse driving conditions. Now, when it comes to adverse driving conditions, that will be things like a really bad traffic accident, or like snow, really bad weather, other weather conditions, but they have to be unforeseen circumstances. So if it is February in Chicago and it's snowing, that is not an unforeseen circumstance. You knew it was going to snow in February in Chicago, okay? So you knew that you needed to make sure that you allotted for more time. You left room for error. So if you didn't do that, that is not an adverse driving condition. Now, if it's something that's not predicted, if you didn't know, if you're in Florida and it starts snowing in July, that is an unforeseen circumstance, that is adverse driving conditions. You have every right to take advantage of the adverse driving conditions, which would be allowing the operator to extend his 11-hour drive limit and his 14-hour limit by 2 hours, okay? But again, it has to be an adverse driving condition where it was something that they didn't know was going to happen. It can't be something that the meteorologist already told you was going to happen. And last and finally, we're going to talk about personal conveyance, and then I got to get off of here because my allergies are so disrespectful right now. When it comes to personal conveyance, that is the use or the movement of the truck for personal use while off duty. And that would have to be recorded in the electronic logging device as off duty. I'm going to give you a few examples of what personal conveyance is. Now, that would be time spent traveling from their hotel to get food or even to watch a movie for entertainment. And that will more so be for that person with a day cab that doesn't have a sleeper. Therefore, they're staying in a hotel and they may have to drive to get food. Like I said, drive to watch a movie, whatever is considered personal conveyance, they can do that. There's also time spent traveling to a safe location. So if that same operator was at a location and they end up getting detained and now they are out of drive hours, but they haven't made it to where they're going for the night, they need to be able to get to a safe location to sleep. So they are allowed to use personal conveyance to do that. However, they would have to go to the nearest safe location. They can't go to their favorite truck stop that's 10 miles away if there's one that's 1 mile away. They have to go to the nearest location in order for it to be considered personal conveyance. Next thing would be if the police tell them to move to a safer location, or if there's time spent transporting, they can use it for time spent transporting their personal belongings or personal property while they're off duty. And last, if they're authorized to take the truck home for an emergency reason. However, there cannot be any cargo in the trailer. And those are the things that are listed under personal conveyance. I hope this painted a good enough picture for you of what the hours of service look like and how to stay in compliance and keep your owner operator in compliance. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll see you next time. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to continue to educate yourself on all things logistics, please like, share, and subscribe. And also remember, with all things logistics, you are in business for yourself, but never by yourself. I'll see you next time.